The Olympics are here. Oh, yeah. Oh, the Olympics are here. Y'all can tell me this part of the story isn't fascinating to y'all. God damn it, it's fascinating to me. These Olympics and the Olympians go there and they hump like rabid dogs. This is like my favorite story that gets kind of swept under the rug. In case y'all don't know, it is a very common phrase amongst the Olympians. What happens in the village stays in the village. I mean, dude, they have so much sex. I mean, they are just getting it on for 2 weeks nonstop. I mean, I have heard anywhere from 100,000 condoms to up to 300,000 condoms are going to be passed around these, about 10,000 athletes. It's at least 30 to 40 condoms a person. I mean, the entire time they are just dang, banging each other like a drum. It is insane. But it makes sense if you think about it. I mean, 72% of these Olympians are aged 20 to 30 years old. They're at the height of like their peak physical condition. A lot of them have been very sheltered. It's a very lonely life, training all day. A lot of them are homeschooled. They're taken away from regular life. And they have this sheltered lifestyle where they're just peak full of testosterone and estrogen. And suddenly they're around all these beautiful people in this Vegas style situation. And they're put into this, this kind of village where there's no prying reporters anymore. There's no a-hole parents, no overprotective people keeping an eye on them, and suddenly they're just thrust into a world full of nothing but other beautiful people for 2 straight weeks. They say the dining hall is like a high school cafeteria if everybody was the hottest person in their school, all loaded in one room. They're excited, they're nervous, some of them get upset when they lose, they're vulnerable. These are a bunch of athletes that are lonely and misunderstood, and finally they're surrounded by a bunch of other beautiful people that have things in common with them. Next thing you know, it's just I'm sorry. I think that's great. Good for them. Good for them. I mean, if nothing else, you're gonna leave with something. May not leave with a medal, you may leave with an STI. But they are passing out condoms again, over 100,000 condoms at least. And the stories. Oh, the stories. You need to go ahead and Google some of these. They are just bananas. Some examples, Vancouver, 2010. They said they were out there and they were having orgies in the whirlpool. London, 2012. The Grindr app just crashed after minutes of the athlete's arrival. They said people are out in the open. They're on the grass. They're between the buildings. They're just getting, quote, down and dirty. 2008, Beijing, they called it the Sex Fest, and they said there was, quote, more sex than Woodstock. 1988, going back to 88 in Seoul, they had to ban outdoor sex because, again, they're just doing it everywhere. They're just banging on the floor, on the ground. They're just all over the place. They're just... anywhere I want. I mean, they just go insane. There was a plane ride, famously, 2000. It was going back from Sydney to the L.A. The people, the flight attendant people had to be like, hey, if you're not part of the Olympic thing, kind of like, they had to rearrange it because the entire back was just, again, a Caligula scene. It might be a reference for some of you younger kids may not get, but Google it and you'll find out. 2016 Rio, they said 450,000 condoms were passed out, including 100,000 female condoms. The idiot swimmer we had, Ryan Lochte, said it's like 70 to 75%. Again, just getting it on.
Anywhere I want. I'll on these walls. I'll on the cabinets, on the furniture. I'm everywhere.
Mateo, that's interesting. I don't care what anyone says. That's awesome. I mean, good for them. There's other things to focus on, so I'll move on. But just in case you didn't know, they be getting it on at the Olympics, and so Google some of that. It's pretty interesting stuff. And again, it makes total sense when you put a bunch of protected, peak athlete people that are like 20 years old, suddenly thrust them into the world, and next thing you know, they're all doing their thing. But there's more important things to get into.